Texas is the largest contiguous state where everything is a bit bigger. Trucks, hats, egos, portions. Before the Europeans came, indigenous cultures like the Puebloans, Mississippians, and Mesoamerican civilizations lived here. The later Spanish rule lasted until the Texas Revolution. Modern Texans love their state more than America itself. Some even think about secession. They are portrayed as cowboys who bring their 12 guns everywhere and say howdy or yeehaw all the time. It's said that everyone lives on a ranch and loves slow-cooked barbecue. The state is conservative with strong Christian traditions, and they don't like Californians too much. Louisiana was home to the mound builders in the 4th millennium BC, later settled by the French, Germans, Spaniards, and Brits. Apparently everyone here lives in a swamp, eats crawfish or crabs, has pet alligators, or runs drive-through daiquiri stands. It's full of people speaking weird Creole French or a thick southern accent no one understands. Known for its spicy Cajun and Creole food, the state blends French heritage, jazz, and voodoo traditions. Outsiders picture New Orleans as the whole state, with wild Mardi Gras carnival parties where clothes are optional. The state also struggles with poverty and crime. Mississippi was first settled by Native Americans around 9500 BC. Then the French and Spanish ruled, before the British took over. Today, it's the poorest state and proud owner of the highest obesity rate. Everyone goes to church 3 times on Sunday. Outsiders stereotype it as backward, bigoted, racist, and ignorant, with Bible-thumping rednecks who live in trailers and own more guns than teeth. But it's the birthplace of blues and all American music worth listening to, has the best fried catfish, loads of forest, and the people are actually friendly once they trust you. Alabama is poor, deeply tied to the Confederacy and stereotyped as racist, sexist, uneducated, and full of rednecks. Life here revolves around college football, porch sitting, fried food, and sweet tea. Alabama is known for pecan pie that could end wars, grits, and thunderstormy hot summers. It has high biodiversity, earning the nickname Endangered Species Capital. Outsiders say everyone here marries their cousin or sister and that the whole state is one big family. Florida is the crazy state where every imaginable crime has been committed. It was first settled by Paleo-Indians over 14,000 years ago and later became home to St. Augustine, the oldest European settlement in the US. But it stayed empty there until AC was invented. It's the flattest, hottest, and most humid state. Half retirement home, half spring break zoo. Home to Disney World, beach bums, Miami Cubans, Russian billionaires, and the crazy Florida man who apparently robs a Walmart with a live alligator. They say the more north you go, the more redneck it gets, and the middle part is just pythons and meth. Floridians even share their home with alligators, and they have the world's 3rd largest barrier reef. Georgia is known for peaches, sweet tea, and everyone saying y'all. Atlanta dominates the state, known for its awful traffic, more black millionaires than anywhere else, Coca-Cola, and the busiest airport. Outside Atlanta, there are only pine trees, chicken farms, Friday night football, and people so polite they'll bless your heart while hating your guts. Stereotypes swing between Southern belles, polite gentlemen, beauty pageants, and rappers. South Carolina is stereotyped as unfriendly, rude, and full of hillbillies with a heavy southern drawl. It's known for mustard barbecue, shrimp, and grits, Myrtle Beach, which is the mini-golf capital of the world and the redneck Riviera, and people living on fireball shots and cigarettes. Crime is an issue, and it was the first state to secede. The state has town names like Pumpkin Town and 96, bans minors from playing pinball, and even has an island with free-roaming monkeys. North Carolina was inhabited for at least 10,000 years before the Carolinas split, supposedly because northern settlers wanted to fight a native tribe while the southerners didn't. It's the birthplace of Pepsi and treats barbecue like a religion with endless fights over which style is correct. Locals complain their tea is never sweet enough, worship NASCAR, brag about their breweries, cider and seltzer, and come off overly gracious and polite. The Smoky Mountains define the west, hurricanes hit the east, and the humidity feels like being steamed alive. They also experience all 4 seasons in a week. It's South Carolina, but less redneck, and loads are moving here. Tennessee is known for country music and the birthplace of rock and roll. Memphis is all about blues music and pork ribs. Nashville is country music and partying tourists. They hate each other more than they hate Alabama. East Tennessee has hillbillies who make moonshine in bathtubs, strong enough to run a chainsaw. Half the state was bottle-fed Jack Daniels, and everyone has a jacked-up truck. Locals swear they were raised herding cattle and rustling pigs before they could walk. The average household owns 10 Bibles, 7 guns, and a Dolly Parton shrine. Oh, and it's illegal to catch a fish with a lasso here. Kentucky was settled as early as 9500 BC by Clovis hunter-gatherers. Today, it's poor, rural, and stereotyped as shoeless, rowdy, inbred hillbillies stuck a decade behind everyone else. Though locals pride themselves on outdoorsy living, nostalgia, and strong southern manners. The state is known for horse racing, having more bourbon barrels than people, and treating chicken like a religion. Rural hospitality runs deep. Every porch has a banjo in the east, and Fort Knox guards America's gold here. West Virginia is known for Appalachian culture, coal mining, a traditional rural lifestyle, and strong community ties. Their football fans burn couches, win or lose. Locals insist they're not hillbillies, usually while skinning a squirrel with a straw in their mouth. And they love Civil War reenactments and hate being confused with Virginia. The state is mountainous and beautiful, but also poor, with health and drug issues. Some say it's almost heaven, unless Mothman is chasing you. Virginia was one of the first British settlements and later lost more land than any other state. The North is close to Washington, D.C., creating the stereotype of snobby liberals versus the rest of the state's conservative hunters. Virginia has forests, beaches, the world's largest naval base, and is known for wine and ham. Locals insist they are nothing like those West Virginians and say their state is romantic. Odd laws ban tickling women, swearing on the phone, and spitting on seagulls. Maryland was first home to tribes like the Piscataway and Powhatan, but later became a refuge for England's Roman Catholics. Marylanders love their Old Bay seasoning, eat loads of crabs, and are portrayed as wealthy, polite, family-oriented, highly educated, and liberal. They also obsess over politics and their state flag. But if you're from Baltimore, you're a criminal. If you're from outside Baltimore, you're apparently a redneck. Delaware is the first state, but most people forget it even exists. They say the best thing about Delaware is everything around it. The only thing they have is parks and more chickens than people. Folks coming here for shopping without paying taxes and then leave again. The north is seen as dirty, the southern beaches full of boomers. Pennsylvania is known for Pittsburgh and Philadelphia, 2 liberal cities that feel like separate worlds with their own store and restaurant chains. Philly is known for riots and rude people, Pittsburgh for its Rust Belt vibe. The rest of the state is nicknamed Pennsyltucky, often called the Alabama of the North. But they have good cheesesteaks, many potholes, coal mines, and apparently fentanyl problems. Outsiders think Pennsylvanians are either Amish or loud, tough, working-class sports fans who love the Rocky movies. New Jersey has been inhabited since the 6th millennium BC and was first reached by the Dutch. Today, it's the most densely populated state with a reputation for bad tans, strong accents, chemical scents, and endless attitude. Outsiders call it New York's armpit, or a Walmart Italy, where mispronouncing mozzarella might get you yelled at by sunburned mobsters. Jersey is portrayed as rich, extremely rude, angry, and proud of it. People won't be nice, but they'll help you fix a flat tire while calling you an idiot. The nice shore defines the culture, and locals act like the middle of the state doesn't exist. New York was once home to the Iroquois and Algonquian tribes before the Dutch and British took over. Everyone thinks the whole state is New York City, but most of it is quiet, rural upstate with places like Buffalo and Niagara Falls. New York City itself is loud, dirty, expensive, packed with millions of rats, and apparently full of fast-paced, blunt, rude people who are in a rush, talk non-stop about New York, and yell, "I'm walking here." A mix of Wall Street elites, trash, crime, and huge cultural diversity. Baseball is big, and the city is still the world's financial hub, even if outsiders think it's full of deranged leftists and gangsters. Connecticut is seen as a quieter, cleaner, boring New York alternative, known for rich, snobby yuppies and pastel-wearing country club elites, though that's only one corner of the state. Connecticut has one of the biggest wealth gaps in America, with huge contrasts between Greenwich-style prep life and everyone else. The state is known for nothing except lobster rolls and insurance. Locals argue it should be known for breweries and aggressive tailgating on the highway. Rhode Island is the tiniest state, and you can cross it in under an hour, so for locals, any drive over an hour is a brutal road trip. It's often called the most forgettable state, the country's little brother, full of coastal towns, yuppies with a love for maple syrup and cheddar cheese on apple pie, nosy neighbors, and people who all sound like Peter Griffin from Family Guy. It has tons of Italian Americans, an inferiority complex toward Massachusetts, and invented coffee milk. It's also illegal to bite off someone's limb here. Massachusetts basically started the American Revolution and is the library of the US, with Harvard and MIT. The state is split between elite academics and loud Irish American sports fans who live for the Red Sox and dislike New York. People here call themselves massholes and are portrayed as liberal and wealthy. They talk a lot with their hands and love Dunkin' Donuts, Irish pubs, and clam chowder. They're also bad drivers, known for road rage, and every third word is wicked. Many speak the Boston accent and agree it sounds awful. Vermont is a sparsely populated, hilly, wealthy, hyper-progressive state, often labeled the most socialist in the country. Residents are sometimes called hill commies and stereotyped as bearded hipster lumberjacks or farmers, retired hippies, and small-town artisans, all smothered in maple syrup. The state is defined by rural scenery, farm-to-table culture, Ben & Jerry's, and everyone speaks funny. New Hampshire is often called Mini Canada. It's known as an autumn wonderland with wooden-covered bridges and many lumberjacks. It's viewed as friendly, atheist, high quality of life, outdoorsy, and known for the famous Betty and Barney Hill alien abduction case. People are portrayed as super happy, die-hard libertarians, or vegetable growers who refuse to wear helmets or seatbelts and talk about taxes all day. They also apparently dislike Massachusetts, yet commute there anyway. Maine is cold, quiet, heavily forested, sparsely populated, and known for its rugged coast, foggy lighthouses, and tough fishing culture. Stereotypes cast Mainers as plate-wearing seafood snobs who can't pronounce the letter R, stay independent, and get cranky if things aren't done their way. Ask a local for directions and they'll tell you, "You can't get there from here." It's the lobster and blueberry state, home to Acadia National Park, full of small towns and often seen as underrated. Ohio is considered the most average, bland, middle American state, known for cornfields, rust, and being boring but populated by nice people who love sports and pray to LeBron James. It has a fierce football rivalry with Michigan and cities like Cleveland, which self-mock while pointing out local issues like crime and pollution. Home to Cedar Point, one of the world's top theme parks, Ohioans are stereotyped as secretly wishing they lived anywhere else. Michigan is a poor Rust Belt state defined by factory closures and Detroit's hellhole reputation. It was once proud of its auto industry and labor unions, but now suffers from unemployment and crumbling roads. Residents are resilient Midwesterners who prep for snowstorms even in summer and hate Ohio more than anything else. Everyone here drinks Faygo soda, eats coney dogs, and bleeds motor oil. But the West and Upper Peninsula offer nice lakes, forests, and boating. Indiana is a rural, devout Protestant, Republican-leaning state stereotyped as boring, obsessed with corn, farms, basketball, and tractors. The Indy 500 car race is the main claim to fame, and locals are portrayed as conservative. Here, you're told to speak American, because this is America. Illinois is mostly rural cornfields, though outsiders only know Chicago, famous for gang violence and the nickname Chirac. Some say it's home to some of the worst cities in America and corrupt governors. Illinois people are stereotyped as meat-eating and a bit thicker, cause of all that deep dish pizza. Twinkies were invented here. And in some towns like Kenilworth, it's illegal to make faces at dogs. Downstate is known as Forgotonia, full of bitter Republicans. Missouri is split between cities like St. Louis and Kansas City, and rural areas, famous for barbecue, the Missouri River, and over 5,500 caves. Locals are portrayed as act first, ask questions later. Camo furniture loving, church going, deer hunting gamers who are generous, conservative, loyal sports fans, and love good food. The state has little to do and has the nickname Misery. Arkansas is stereotyped as a rural, barefoot, overall-wearing hillbilly state where everyone hunts, fishes, owns too many dogs, and supposedly never leaves the state. People joke about cousin marrying, obesity, small-town life, and everyone living at Walmart. Locals also know when you're not from around here. Here, Democrats are as rare as a Hawaiian shirt in Antarctica. In reality, it has underrated natural beauty, strong folk traditions, crafts, music, and excellent camping and hiking, but also unpredictable frequent storms and tornadoes. Oklahoma is seen as a quiet state until a tornado wipes out a neighborhood. It has a rivalry with Texas and is often dismissed as a poorer, wannabe southern version of it. Oklahomans are portrayed as overweight rednecks with a cowboy heritage and a deeply conservative rural identity. They deep fry everything from fish to rattlesnake, but they also have more native tribes than anywhere, and a casino every 10 miles. Kansas is a very flat state with endless wheat and sunflower fields, farms, and conservative small towns. It has a history of violence between pro-slavery and anti-slavery factions, earning it the nickname Bleeding Kansas. The people here are portrayed as gun lovers, dressed in overalls, super religious, or racist, but on average friendly. Everyone also thinks you've seen a tornado up close. It's also forever tied to the Wizard of Oz. Nebraska is seen as one giant cornfield full of farmers, cows, corn-fed steaks, and people who ride cows to school. Outsiders assume all Nebraskans eat is corn 3 times a day. But Nebraska is very friendly, quiet, uneventful, and football is the only religion that matters. It's also home to Monterey, a one-resident village. But Lincoln and Omaha hold over 700,000 people and are the state's actual cultural centers. They also have the largest single sand dune on the planet and more river miles than any other state. And you get arrested if your kid burps in church. Iowa is a flat, dull state of cornfields and cow pastures. It has more pigs than people. Every 4 years, the whole country pretends Iowa decides the president. Iowans are portrayed as pickup driving hunters with beer coolers. Some say they are racist, anti-abortion, and homophobic. In reality, you'll find friendly and earnest farming communities, and the state has the highest literacy rate in the country. Sliced bread and the trampoline were also invented here. Wisconsin people are hardworking beer, football, and cheese lovers, with an out-of-control drinking culture. There is not a single county in Wisconsin that isn't absolutely hammered. They are polite, say "ope" a lot, and jump in frozen lakes for fun. The state once had a strong socialist streak, but is now politically centrist. It's also known for stark racial segregation, often cited as one of the worst states for African Americans. Minnesota is the frozen lake capital of America, with more shoreline than most coastal states and winters so brutal that 32 degrees is shorts weather for locals. It's often compared to Finland, and many residents have Nordic roots. Locals have a funny accent, say "you betcha" a lot, and are seen as super polite, kind, nice, and quietly passive-aggressive. People spend half the year wrapped in 2,000 layers, the other half on a lake. Saying you hate hot dish is basically treason, and teasing skunks is illegal here. North Dakota is cold, empty, flat, and quiet, with long winters. Culturally, it's a mix of native communities, Norwegians, Germans, and Russians. Outsiders assume everyone talks with a Scandinavian or German accent. It's rural, slow-paced, and often labeled boring, but its massive oil fields earned it the nickname "our own little Saudi Arabia." Most people here prefer a simple life. South Dakota is a quiet, empty, wide-open plain state with a major Sioux presence. Some say similar to North Dakota, but friendlier. Locals are simple-minded and easily entertained, preferring calm living. Mount Rushmore is also here. Montana is a huge, empty state of mountains, grizzlies, and way more cows than people. Ranching, hunting, and a rugged, libertarian outdoor culture dominate, where hunting season matters more than Christmas. Everyone rides a horse to school and is a total badass. It's one of the most stunningly beautiful states. Idaho has loads of potatoes, long empty drives, and conservative farm towns, with a beautiful wilderness, deep quiet lakes used for Navy submarine testing, Hell's Canyon, North America's deepest gorge, and the lava fields of Craters of the Moon. The city of Boise exists, and nobody wants to admit it. Washington is the region where everyone apparently has a cousin, and that has more serial killers than sunny days. Locals pretend Seattle is awful, only to keep newcomers from wrecking the housing market. Western Washington is the flannel-wearing, Subaru-driving, Starbucks-addicted, Bigfoot-spotting, very progressive half. Eastern Washington is politically closer to Texas. The state is defined by drizzle rain, nice forests, mountains, and an introverted coffee culture, with highlights like Mount Rainier and Olympic National Park. It's also home to Amazon, Microsoft, and crime-ridden cities. Oregon is apparently full of tech bros, crunchy granola hippies, lumberjacks, vegans, and eco-fanatics, but only if you're near the coast. Inland, the state flips to red-leaning ranch country, with half of it desert and plenty of folks who'd rather join Idaho. Once a logging state, it drifted into leftist progressive culture, gaining a reputation for witchcraft-obsessed feminists in Portland. It's still one of the most naturally beautiful states, packed with forests, mountains, coastline, and more ghost towns than anywhere else. California is the preppy kid. Rich, chaotic, fake, beautiful, and always talking about itself. It's the biggest, wealthiest, and most influential state, home to Hollywood, Silicon Valley, celebrities, tech giants, and some of the best weather anywhere. But it's also insanely expensive, full of homelessness, crime-ridden progressive cities, bad infrastructure, and constant earthquakes and wildfires. People here are a weird mix of beach bums, surfers, yoga masters, vegans, bodybuilders, activists, tech bros, valley girls, tokers, wannabe influencers, and people who say like, bro, and dude every sentence. Everyone also has a tan, only eats raw, organic, vegan, gluten-free stuff, or tries to be famous. Plastic surgery is a birthday gift. Starbucks is a religion, and apparently Californians flee to other states and ruin them. The coast is liberal and pretentious. The inland is more conservative and hates the coast. They also have decent wine here. Nevada was once part of the Spanish Empire. Now it's defined by gambling, women who share their company, and a tourism-driven economy dominated by Las Vegas. And what happens in Vegas usually ends in regret. People here are portrayed as casino workers, gamblers, showgirls, or Elvis impersonators. The state is mostly empty, dry desert with nuclear waste storage, many mountains, Area 51, and little green men. It's forbidden to ride your camel on highways, and mustached men are banned from kissing women in Eureka County. Arizona is known for extreme heat, deserts, and cacti. It's home to the Grand Canyon and Navajo Nation, the largest reservation in the country. Here, everyone open carries guns like it's the Wild West. It's full of sweating old people and Californian baby boomers that try to find a parking spot in the shade. They also have Yuma, the sunniest city on Earth. New Mexico is the state people forget exists, overshadowed by Arizona until Breaking Bad came out. It has a large Hispanic population and everyone apparently eats chili and loves rain. The second highest violent crime rate in the US intertwines with stereotypes about secret meth labs, UFO sightings, and alien abductions. It's also the birthplace of the atomic bomb. Colorado is known for mountains, skiing, weed, and craft beer. It's seen as one of the healthiest states. Everyone is constantly hiking, biking, or snowboarding, thanks to the altitude and outdoor culture. Stereotypes center on hipster stoners in Birkenstocks or chacos, always ready for a trail, a brewery, or walking their dog. The state is known for Denver and its rapid growth, crazy weather swings, and it's the birthplace of the cheeseburger. Utah is known as the Mormon state, where it's okay to cheat on your wife with your other wife. It has some of the best skiing and red rock landscapes in the country, but swings between freezing winters and scorching summers. It's considered a good state for business, but you're not allowed to walk down the street with a violin in a paper bag. The official state snack is green jello with carrots. Wyoming is known for Yellowstone, beautiful quiet landscapes, and hot springs, but no one lives here. It's considered a cowboy state full of conservative ranchers who love horses, buffalo, and wilderness. They won't talk to you unless you're wearing a cowboy hat. Alaska used to be Russian until Alexander II sold it. Now, it's the largest and coldest US state, home to polar bears, and considered one of the most gorgeous regions in the country. Half the year is darkness, the other half mosquitoes. It's known for hunting, ice fishing, and rugged but friendly self-sufficient bear wrestlers who live in secluded cabins. The government even pays you $1,700 per year to live here. But Alaska also has the nation's highest violent crime rate. Hawaii, once an independent Polynesian kingdom, is famous for surfing, hula, pineapples, and luau parties. It's culturally dissociated from the mainland with a strong native and islander identity. Locals fiercely dislike mainlanders. The state is extremely beautiful, tropical, and expensive, with iconic sites like Pearl Harbor. Stereotypes include surfers, hula dancers, retirees, and homeless mainlanders. Everyone surfs, wears flip-flops, and is laid back.